Hi, I want to give you a quick tour of Google Calendar. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of Google Calendar and show you where a few things are. And then in future videos, I'll talk to you and show you how to do things like make an event, or schedule appointment slots, or share calendars, or embed a calendar on your website and things like that. So this is Google Calendar. This is where I land when I go to calendar.google.com. And you can see up at the top here, I have the hamburger menu like all the G Suite apps do. And if I click on that, it will open or close this side menu, which is pretty typical. Up here on the right, I have the gear icon. And again, just like all the other Google apps, that's going to be where I can manage my settings and things. And then I have my little account profile up here, and you kind of see this picture in two different places, right? And this hasn't come up much yet, but this is pretty important. I am logged into my Chrome browser with my woodscharter.org account. And then separately, I am logged into Google Calendar with my woodscharter.org account. And those two things function kind of independently of each other. The fact that I'm logged into the Chrome browser lets me do things like access the Woods bookmarks up in the bookmarks menu. But I could conceivably be logged in both into my Woods account and then also be logged into my personal Gmail account for calendar and switch back and forth between them, even though I'm only logged into one or the other in Chrome. The other things you see across the top here that are pretty important are how you can switch between the day, the week, the month, the year, or the agenda or schedule view, which is only going to show the events you have coming up, or 4 days. So that's a pretty important thing. I like to keep mine on month usually, but in particular when we have parent conferences, if I have a lot of things scheduled on the same day, day view will let me look at that more closely. There's also this nice button here that lets you kind of zoom to today. And then you can use these arrows to arrow through the different months. And you can also access different months over here in the sidebar and kind of get a preview of them. So if you're trying to see like what day of the week June 5th, 2021 is, but you don't want to actually go there, you can use this little sidebar. Over here on the left, I can also see all the calendars I have. I have a lot of calendars because like we mentioned before, every time you create a Google Classroom, a calendar is created with it. And I can use these check boxes to turn these calendars on and off. So I can view as few or as many of them as I want to. A lot of them I will just keep turned off. Like right now, I don't need my scheduling calendar and I don't need the enrichments calendar, so it's turned off. I don't have much in my reminders and tasks that I need to see on my calendar, so I might get those turned off. These are my personal calendars that I've created and I own. These calendars down here are outside calendars that I subscribe to. So some of these are what we call the Woods resource calendars, calendars that are essentially owned by the organization Woods Charter. That is what the Glade calendar is. That's how the laptop cart calendars used to work. And then some of them are calendars that exist out there in the world, like the holiday calendar. And some of them are just calendars that someone has shared with me in particular. Like the guest teacher calendar used to be a resource calendar, and now it's a calendar that Eve just shared with us. So these are outside calendars that I subscribe to. And some of them I could take away. Like this future-proof thing is a conference that I went to, and they scheduled the sessions on Google Calendar. So for those 2 days, I could see what sessions I had signed up for. But it's not a calendar I need anymore. So I can come over here to the X, and I can remove the calendar. I can also use the skinny snowman dots, and I can hide the calendar. And that distinction is not obvious at first. It's the difference between kind of removing it completely and just making it invisible. And if you hide it, you can still access it through your settings and kind of turn it back on. But I'm really done with this, so I'm going to use the X. And I'm going to remove the calendar. And then while I'm at it, I also don't need this old guest teacher calendar, so I'll remove that. that's my overview of Google Calendar. I think in the next video, I will show you how to use your settings for Google Calendar and manage your privacy and stuff. And then I will talk to you about how to make events and things like that. Thanks a lot. And if you think of anything that's important that I missed, or if there's anything that you really want me to talk about in a future Google Calendar video, just drop it in the comments below.